amputation. So if you feel a need to be able to see more of what I'm saying or doing, or you can't hear me right now at this volume, you need to move, because I can't. Okay? Or I can, but all those in conference will not be happy. Okay? Good afternoon. We are going to do both the lecture and the lab here, since we're using this room instead of everybody having to come upstairs. So at 2 o'clock, we were going to have 3 subjects, but both of Mike's subjects he was bringing could not make it. So there will be 1 subject with bilateral upper extremity, who is a very animated speaker, who will be here. I will be doing a station up here, and Mike Truesdale, the same one we made at last week, will be doing a minor lecture station. And that will all make sense here in a few minutes about what we're talking about. Today is upper extremity prosthetics. Yes, I know that the majority of upper extremity prosthetics are more occupational therapy driven, but a lot you need to know of reports, and there's a lot that we do. I have had a lot of individuals in my practice, which you realize what I specialize in, who have had upper extremity and lower extremity amputations. So you have to understand that donning a lower extremity prosthesis when there's an upper extremity prosthesis involved is not quite as easy. All right. The most common reason for amputation, you see obviously you got the same age bracket that you have in the lower extremity amputations. Congenital or tumor. Congenital, remember, just like in the lower extremity, falls in children born without hands or parts of their upper extremities, and deformities that were to the level that they amputated because it makes the upper extremity more functional. We actually have a young lady in our amputee support group I coordinate in Greensboro, who is now 15, who was born without her right hand, and she plays baseball competitively on a travel team. She plays baseball, not softball. Okay, and she will show you real quick the difference. She pitches, and it's quite interesting to watch her do things, but she jokingly says when we introduce herself at meetings that she's been an amputee for 15 years, and then she goes to finally tell us she's 15 years old. So it's her joke. But trauma is usually 15 to 45. You rarely see patients much over 60. They're either tumor or disease. And number 1 opinion in my opinion, disease is more vascular, like people on dialysis. It is not uncommon to see finger and hand amputations, especially because they put the fistulas in the ports in their arms to do the dialysis. Sometimes they can impair the circulation to our hand, and they can lose that hand or parts of it. Okay, these are the amputation levels, which pretty much makes sense. Same theory of thought that we have talked about with lower extremities. The word trans means through. So you can tell the top ones are through those different bones, or the phalanges or the metacarpals. You can have a wrist disarticulation, which would mean that all of the radius and ulnar are present and all of the carpal bones have been amputated. And the transradial is also the same thing as below the elbow. You have an elbow disarticulation, transhumeral. Now here's one thing that differs when it comes to upper extremities and lower extremity. A shoulder disarticulation is to the humerus point. So basically, all of the humerus and everything below it are missing from the amputation. A interscapular disarticulation, also referred to as a aorta, removes the scapula. So a shoulder disarticulation actually still has the scapula present. It doesn't sound like a lot, but you can imagine the difference in structure or suspension and different things when you take the scapula away from in that picture of the forequarter. A forequarter amputation is more difficult. A shoulder disarticulation is not easy because the higher you go, the harder it is, but a forequarter, it's even more difficult without that scapula to help. Okay? This is just just looking like we did in the lower extremity, and you still have what's considered with the humeral and the transradial to be long and short and very short. So just like in the lower extremity, the length of the residual limb matters because your lever control, your surface area, all of it changes. So some considerations that they're looking for is the amputation level and the contour of the residual limb. In the upper extremity, that's very important because quite often in the upper extremity, if they can, especially with longer residual limbs, they're going to use anatomical suspension, which means they're going to design the socket such that they lock on condyles or things to suspend it over some of the other suspensions. You will still see the roll-on sleeves and the pins, some, but more likely you're going to see the upper extremity, some kind of anatomical suspension over some of the other suspensions we saw in the lower extremity. Okay? You want to know the expected function. I don't know about you, but my hand does a lot more than my foot as far as function goes. I expect a lot more out of my hand than I do out of my foot. Okay? So for that matter, what is replacing the hand is called the terminal device. Okay? And we will get into terminal devices in a later section, but when you expect an outcome, they have a multitude of terminal devices. Most insurances will give individuals 3 terminal devices to switch between. So if you have a farmer that is going to be carrying a lot of buckets, you may want to design one of its terminal devices that are better for carrying things. Okay? So you want to look at what the expected function is when you look at the upper extremity because you can get so many terminal devices that are specific to certain tasks that they may be performing repetitively or a lot. That will help them become more functional. The cognitive function of the patient is important. It is in the lower extremity, but as I said, the below knee or transtibial amputation quite often can almost learn road balance somewhat to a certain degree. The upper extremity takes a lot to figure out how to use these devices. They are not as automatic somewhat. That don't become quite as automatic with them. They take a lot, and the higher you go up, the more mechanical joints you put by a higher level amputation, the more difficult it becomes. Okay? You obviously, the vocation of the patient does go somewhat with the expected function because you want to know what this prosthesis needs to do for this individual. Avocation, you're going to see some other things. There are mittens that catch balls. So if you want to play softball or lacrosse, you actually can attach the lacrosse net or end piece to the end of the terminal device. It's a little bit of a disadvantage to the actual lacrosse player who has to, they have an advantage when it's hooked to their arm. It's almost closer to throwing a baseball for them. But it's a disadvantage if you can't switch hand hit. Because you're not going to be able to switch it to the other side like my lacrosse stick. My son plays lacrosse. You can change and shoot left-handed. Okay? Cosmetic importance. That is huge. In the upper extremity, a lot of times, one of the 3 terminal devices can be something that's more cosmetic for going out. Because you do not have to disclose as you run in other classes any disability. If you have a hook for your terminal device, it is very hard not to disclose that. Unless you're going to keep it in your pocket, which again is not a good interview skill for going to get a job. Okay? So, and there's a lot to overcome with people looking at you and going automatic if they can't do this job and automatically knock you out for a job that you're very well qualified to do, because the individual interviewing you can't figure out how someone with an arm amputation would do this job. Okay? Because they don't understand their capabilities. They don't even let them get past that. So that's why a lot of times the cosmetic one is very important up here. Just like in the lower extremity, you have reliefs over bony prominent areas. In sensitive areas, you have buildups with the higher pressure and more pressure tolerant areas. Just like in the lower extremity though, you are trying to maintain total contact. So we're not trying to have space at the end of the socket. You're trying to maintain that. The one difference is the hand, or it's called the terminal device. As far as terminology goes with this, they still do myodesis and myoplasties in the upper extremity. And prehensile streak or prehensile motion is also referred to as different cracks and different pinches that you may want with these devices. If a client's dominant upper extremity is amputated, let's go back a minute. The number one reason for an upper extremity amputation is trauma. Unlike the lower extremity, that's disease. So, if the number one is trauma, if I, using examples of patients that I've seen, if I put my hand into the grinder at Easter sausage and my hand goes too far and is amputated, which hand do you think I'm probably pushing in the material with? Your dominant. Which hand, if you have an auger, are you trying to clear the dirt around the edge of the auger and your sleeve gets caught on the auger and goes down into the hole? It gets wrapped around the auger. It's your dominant. So a lot of times this is the case. So one thing we are going to do in the body power section that I do in the lab today is we're going to think about how to switch dominance in some of these tasks. But you've got to think, I'm right-handed, so what does my right hand do and what does my left hand do? Because we're still trying to make these individuals not become one-handed, but still be bilateral for tasks that are usually done bilaterally. You just have to switch that dominance. One of my favorite things that one of the guys said, he actually is the one that lost his hand in the auger accident. When he first went back to work, he was put in the office at first to take notes. And everybody would call in, and he would be the one to write down the requests and what needed to be done. Now, he was so much slower, he said, hang on a minute, can you repeat that? Can you tell me that? He goes, I know those people on the other end of that phone thought I was just illiterate or some dummy that couldn't write. Because they can't see through that phone. That was back before FaceTime. They still don't FaceTime in businesses for the most part. But nobody could tell why he was asking you to slow down. If he were in front of you, you would not have thought twice about giving him time to catch up with you. But if I asked you to take notes for this class, with me lecturing up here with your non-dominant hand, how much do you think you could keep up with me? You're not. So it's things like that. Ideally, you want to introduce the prosthesis as early as possible because it's closer to the heart, it typically heals quicker. Ideally, you want to do it less than 30 days, but the big thing is to introduce it one-handed, or they will become one-handed with lots of their tasks. You will see them open a bottle and doing things, and the prosthesis is just a limp, passive thing hanging on the side of their arm. Okay? Perfect example I have of that is a lady that coordinated a Raleigh amputee support group for years, had a right hand amputation, rarely ever wore a prosthesis because she was so one-handed, and she just got talked into getting a myoelectric arm. And when her and her husband had season symphony tickets in Raleigh, and her husband always sat on her left side so they could hold hands during the symphony. Well, she wore her new myoelectric that night that she got it to the symphony, and the gentleman to her right had to ask her to move her hand from his left because she activated it and didn't realize that it was sitting on the guy to her right. Luckily, it was a friend who had season tickets too that they knew, but it goes to tell you she was so dominantly one-handed that she wasn't even aware that something actually triggered it. Most upper extremity prostheses are exoskeletal, and that's because exoskeletal actually allow more anatomical suspension. So you will see more exoskeletal type designs in your upper extremities, and it's way more than you do in lower extremities. Alright, the main types dividing of upper extremity prostheses are passive, meaning it is pure cosmetic and just kind of has no function. It is a passive thing that is present. Body power, which means I use muscles my contralateral extremity or muscles in my body, usually through a harness system to activate the terminal device, the elbow, or parts of it that I need to do things with. Externally powered prostheses are also referred to more as myoelectric or switch control. And they basically, I can do a nudge switch and it will flex the elbow. Okay? As you're going to see when we get to these slides about the pros and cons of each of these types, the myoelectrics are heavier, more expensive. And you're not talking a few thousand, you're talking major money difference. Okay? You can, if they're high enough, hybrid. The gentleman with the auger accident I was referring to, for a while he used a myoelectric hand and a body-powered elbow, but he decided the hand wasn't as functional as his foot, so he switched to body-powered for both. Okay, and that's mainly what he uses. But you can hybrid. Passive. The pros of a passive one is they are very lightweight. They are the most lightweight of all of them. They are able to do the best cosmesis. So what you're looking for is just a hand to look pretty, to go to an interview, go out to a dinner, to the theater. It is very cosmetic, okay? And aesthetic looking as in you can actually match your other extremity, people's other extremities, and you can get closer to the tone of their skin, all kinds of things with that. There's less harnessing because they're not as heavy, so it doesn't take as much to suspend them if you're using a harnessing system at all. They are simple in that they don't take a lot of complex figure out how to use them because you really have no function to them, so they don't take a lot to figure out how to put on, and there are no functions to learn with it. They are low maintenance because there's not a lot of parts, okay? And they are very specific for ones that do have a function. They have usually one function or very few functions to them. They're specific to that task, okay? Now, the cons. If you're going custom, they are very high cost. With upper extremity, you have different levels. You have the most expensive is one that they actually carve to you, kind of mimic over silicone. And you literally, a lot of times when you look at it, would have a hard time telling from a distance or from me to you, which is the artificial hand. Because they'll look veins, hair, wrinkles, all kinds of things to them, okay? Then you can get mass-produced by donor hands. So if someone in here or someone has a beautiful hand, they use model hands. And they really do create these elaborate hands from models that are really good. And then there's some more or less mass-produced ones. So, but if you go into very custom, they cost a lot, and most insurances won't cover them. It is the one of all these that I'm talking about that has the least amount of function, because it doesn't do much. There is no active brass to hold something in most of these. They are, like I said, you can go custom silicone. Recreational ones, like the lacrosse hand or the softball catching ones, a lot of times are not covered by insurance. Okay, body power. Body power has a moderate cost, depending on the level. So let's go up to the 4-quarter. A body power that is fully body powered, not hybrid between parts, you are still looking at around $60,000 to $100,000 for a 4-quarter. That's the scapula and everything is missing. Okay? They are lightweight, especially in comparison to the myoelectric. Yes?
What is body power?
It means that you are going to use another muscle or movement to operate the terminal device or the elbow. So they use a harness system, and when I pull my elbow arm, if my right hand is amputated, when I do bilateral scapular abduction, it will open up the terminal device. So I have to use another body part or in what remains of the upper extremity that was amputated or in the contralateral arm, usually, to operate it through the harness system. Okay? They are very durable. They hold up a lot better than the myoelectrics. Okay? They are simpler to learn than the myoelectrics, doesn't take as much work. They actually can give you higher sensory feedback. Not sensory in what I feel with the fingertips of the terminal device, but sensory as in how strong a force I'm putting on it. I know how much I'm protracting my shoulder, so I know how much I'm over the terminal device. So it's easier to tell because I know how hard I'm moving the body power of the muscles that I'm moving to operate the device. Okay? It does provide proprioception related to that grip force and joint position because of that. It also is available for various activities. You can, like I said, you can get terminal devices with these that do very specific things for people that are mechanics, farmers, and things that have some specific tasks that they do. You can get specific terminal devices for them. The con to it, though, it requires more body movement from the other parts of the body related to operate them. They have to get more harnessing because not only is the harnessing being used for suspension, but it's being used to generate the power. That's how you generate the forces to do this. Okay? They are less cosmetic and they take more energy to operate. Now, you have externally body-powered ones, microprocessors, myoelectric, kind of pneumatic switches, all of those. They usually can be more anatomical suspension, depending on how high of an amputation it is. It requires the least body movement to operate it because they literally tighten up a muscle. A lot of times these sensors are hidden in the socket wall. And if I tighten up what's left of my wrist extensors, it makes contact with that electrode and moves the device where I want it to. So these electrodes, if I bulk that muscle, it's how I make contact with the electrode, and when I make contact with the electrode, that's how I move the part that I'm trying to move with my electrode. Yes?
Is it like an EMG signal or is it?
Yes, it is. It's very similar to it. And Mike, when he comes to the lab here, is going to have a myoelectric hand for you guys to open and close and kind of do things with. There's one switch that opens the hand and one switch that closes it. We're going to be playing with the myoelectric hand here and trying to figure out how to do different things with it. Okay? It is the more intimate for function, so it's the one that can actually pinch, as you're going to see with Mike's hand. You can get different pinches. We do the key pinch or the side of your thumb. You can do the finger reach up. You can do different pinches by manually moving the hand into different parts of opposition. If you move the thumb into different parts of opposition and then close it, you can get different pinches with this one. And again, you will be able to do that. Some of the more elaborate ones, especially higher up, they are starting to do a lot of research with putting the electrodes into the chest. They will actually go surgically implant some of these electrodes in the chest that operate my device through wireless connections. So when I tighten up my pec, my hand opens. When I tighten up my left pec, my hand closes. So, especially with some of the higher level, and I'm seeing faces here, but if you lost your arm and you not want, especially high up.
How long does it take them to like?
It takes, one of the cons is it takes a lot more extended therapy time to learn to use it. You see the con over there? That is a con because it does take more time and work to figure out how to operate these devices and movements and make contact. Okay? It is the heaviest of all these three types that I just talked about. It is the most expensive. That 4-quarter, fully myoelectric arm is over $200, close to $300,000. And it's easy. Okay? And that's not the hybrid. Remember I said you could hybrid some joints being body powered, some joints being myoelectric. A fully myoelectric, 4-quarter prosthesis will cost you $300 grand for what you're doing. It is less durable, they break down. The Meyer Electrics require a stable limb vital. So if I said I implanted an electrode in the socket wall, and what it takes is me contracting a muscle in my residual limb to make contact. If my residual limb shrinks, what's going to happen with my ability to make contact with that wall? I'm not going to make it, and the hand's not going to work. Or I'm not going to be able to operate the device. So that's part of the problem. There is a componentry in the socket. Usually with these, it's that dual wall exoskeletal type design, unlike in the lower extremity. The suspension can be harness-based. Self-suspending means anatomical, meaning they're using condyles and things like that to actually suspend it. Suction is exactly what it says. And they do use the gel liners with the pins to suspend these. Again, just like in the lower extremity, when we talked about why I'm not a fan of using the pins with transfemoral, you got to be really careful. If I'm transradial and I put a pin there, my hands won't be at the same length. So you've got to have, usually you're not going to see pins unless it's a short limb. Because if it's a medium to long limb, that pin will make the arms asymmetrical where they're functioning, and that makes it difficult to operate. You will have control cables to do different types of it. Yes, there are more cables in the body power, but there are some cables to make the myoelectric work. It goes through the electrode is actually doing the function, but you will have cables involved with them. Okay, the terminal device you will have on all of them, and any other joints that might be necessary depending on the level of amputation. Determining the correct length. I would know this for your final exam, since that's the only exam we have left besides the quiz this weekend. Okay? The terminal device is when I hold my prosthesis down at my side, the terminal device should end even with the metacarpal joint of the contralateral side. So, if I hold this hammer, you know what I call the hammer. If I hold this device, you see how it's hitting about with my metacarpal? See where I'm hanging? That's the right height. Not down here where it's ending with my fingertips. Okay? The right height is here and not up here at my wrist. Okay? Alright, here is an example of your passive. As you can tell, this is actually taken at the adaptive golf clinic that I help coordinate. And that literally is what it looks like. In that you slide the shaft of the golf club onto this. It has a rotary component so that we can swing. Okay? But it allows him to have two hands on his swing, and he controls his slices and all whatever we call those. At the adaptive golf clinic, I'm the balance expert. The golfer guy that comes out there, he's the pro. He tells them all the swing. I am not a golfer, but I can help you with playing golf if you want to do that. Okay? The top one, as you can tell, is a child helping with mixing and doing things with mother. A lot of times, if someone has a congenital amputation as a child, you would normally start with passive for multiple reasons. You get them used to having something on the arm, but it's also safer. I want this little girl I used to work with, she actually was transradial, probably about a third of the way down on her arm. Instead of sucking her thumb, she used to suck her residual limbs. Literally, it comforted her. So you can imagine what it looked like when she's sucking her residual limb in the restaurant. It looks like her hand is way down her throat. Well, when you put a prosthesis on it and she gets tired, what's she going to do? She's going to bring that arm up, and if it's hard and the hook on it, she's going to hurt herself. So, and it is not uncommon for children to quite often use a residual limb as a comforting aid. So a lot of times with your children, you start with something that is very soft, like what you see in the top. It mimics the sound side, looks like a robot, especially if you put a silicone glove on it. Yes?
How old do you normally start a child with a, I guess
How old is a child when they start, I'm being serious with this question. So those of you in the camera that didn't hear this, how old do we start this at? You start it when they start doing bilateral upper extremity stuff. So an infant, you want to start usually 3 to 6 months, because when they start doing things that would be bilateral, I know we're not going to be infant mixing things with mom, but we don't want to wait until they become very one-handed. We don't want that child to not want to use both sides, okay? And if you wait, they will. We don't start with something high-tech, we don't start with something heavy, we don't start with something complicated to use. But you do want one of these passive ones on a young child, okay? It is quite often, like we're showing in the golf here, you can get sports attachments that help you catch balls designed for different functions in sports. It is safer. Would you rather be placed, if you had a brother or a child, and we were all on a lacrosse field, would you rather that opponent have this or a lacrosse head at the end of a passive device? Think about it. I don't want my child getting hit by this. Okay. Tools, it is not uncommon to use passives that actually are made to carry buckets and things. They are generally waterproof. So that farmer that's mucking out stalls, that's a really nice device to have on them. This is an example of a body power that is transhumeral. Okay? You actually use the force to operate it. It's transmitted through the harness system or the cables in order to operate the parts. The advantages and disadvantages, we've gone over a lot of them. Again, one of the advantages is low cost, it's lightweight, it's highly reliable. The disadvantage, and this is something we're going to work on in my station up here during it, but work envelope. And they call it work envelope, but to me it's more like a box. And I want you to think about a box in front of me. There's depth, height, and width to this box, right? So, the further I get to the edges of this box, the less control and fine motor control I have of it. So one of the problems with body powered is when you get to the perimeters of this work envelope, you have less control, less strength to the terminal device, and it doesn't operate as well. Okay? It does involve that other extremity, and encompasses it, and involves it, and makes it. You can get repetitive injuries to the other extremity because of how much they work. It is more robotic in appearance of how it moves. Okay? Sometimes when they're higher level, like shoulder disarticulation or fourth quarter, there's not enough muscle left to generate the movement. It is hard to have enough force to generate it. When there's a short residual limb, transhumeral or higher, it's hard to get enough forces to generate. And here's an example of one of your high-powered military. This actually lady is in the military, and she actually has a complete 4-quarter myoelectric arm here, and it is works great. She does a great job with it, but again, it's exactly opposite of what I just said about that body power. That work envelope is larger. I have the same amount of tensile control in the middle of my work envelope as I do at the perimeter. Okay? So you actually can have better control. It actually moves smoother. It's still not quite as smooth as your natural hand, but it's a lot smoother than the robotic type movement of the body power. And it's easier to generate movements for higher arm amputations. So when you get up in that short transhumeral or above, you can actually generate some good forces with myoelectric. It is pricey, and I'm talking very pricey, even more in lower extremity microprocessors, and they're heavier, and they have a lower reliability because the batteries die or run out, they weren't charged, the electrode won't make contact, there are all kinds of things that do well, that have problems.
What qualifies someone to get something like this through insurance?
What qualifies someone to get through that? It does take a lot more with average insurance, but you can justify it if it's a short arm and you realize that they're going to not have control with the body power because it's such a short residual limb. It's often qualifies for the military and or workman's comp. We'll cover it. Okay? But you start looking at things. One thing about workman's comp you have to know is a lot of times you don't want them to do a settlement too early. But when they do a settlement, they're given a certain amount of money for prosthetics for the rest of their life. So if they blow that money on a house, then insurance is not supposed to cover their future prosthesis. That's what that pot of money was for. Now the pain and suffering they go back to house with, that's part of the money. But the money that is supposed to be set aside for future prosthetics for the amount, because they have actually looked at inflation and all kinds of things, the likelihood of them living to 90 years old, and all this kind of stuff, and how many prostheses they're going to need for the rest of their life. And that pool of money is supposed to be put into something that gains interest, and they pull out as they need new prostheses, okay? But insurance can deny them if they know they have a settlement through workman's comp to cover future prostheses. So you've got to make sure that they understand that and don't spend that portion of money on something non-prosthetic. All right, these are examples of some different grips that we need to replicate. And just like the hand function, you have prehensile grip, which is tip to tip, like considered pinch. You have the tripod grip. You have a lateral grip on the side, more of a hook grip when you pick up things, and a spherical one that's driving balls that's more round. You can see the difference between a cylindrical grasp and a spherical grasp. Okay? And the prosthesis needs to be able to do these different ones depending on what the person needs the function to be. Now, the terminal device itself, again, you can hybrid these. That's the reason we're going back. Even though we talked about body power, myoelectric, and all this kind of stuff, we are now going to look at just some terminal devices here. You can get passive ones that have no moving parts. It is quite often knits with infants and sports, but more passive in nature. You have prehensile ones. Now here's where we're going to get into understanding something. In the hand, you have voluntary opening and voluntary closing, which means this device, as you can see right now, stays in the resting position closed, does it not? So it is a voluntary opening device in that when I put the voluntary motion to it, that's how you open it. So this is a voluntary opening. My voluntary motion opens it. A lot of the hands and stuff you can get are voluntarily closing, means it stays open, and when I activate the electrode or the harness system, it closes it. Okay? And it's important because it makes a difference in what you're trying to do with it. Hooks come in many shapes, sizes, and materials, depending on what we need them to do. Okay? They often have rubber bands that need to be replaced that operate the terminal device. There can be springs and switches, but the most common for terminal device are rubber bands to give you the tension you need. And there's a special tool that the patient will be given on how to replace these bands, because just like rubber bands that you and I buy, they do wear out. If I want stronger, I can put 2 or 3 on. They know the poundage of their bands to create different amounts of tension on the hook. Okay? This is the universal hook. It's a voluntary opening hook, like what I have over there, and it is the most common sold in the North America. That is the one you see the most. Remember, there's different designs of the hook of the device itself, but it is the most common. It's a voluntarily opening hook, okay, as a terminal device. They usually have canted fingers slightly because it allows you to see what what you're doing. Imagine not being able to feel where a point is or something that I need to pick up on this table. If I could feel, you think I could pick up that point without my vision? So, a lot of times the hook allows you to see through it and do more fine motor and have visual inspection where like a hand might block my vision of where the coin really was on the table. The pinch is controlled by rubber bands, as I said, and usually the maximum is about 6 pounds for springs or bands if you put enough of them on. Now, voluntarily closing hooks. As you see in the picture, it stays open and actually you close it. You do not see a lot of this because it has a lot of breakdown problems. It is not as reliable. They are expensive compared to the other ones and they're very prone to break down. That is a big con of them. The big good is you can control the amount of prehension of the hook coming together. It's easier to hold an egg. If I try to hold an egg with that hook, I'm probably going to crack it well before I want to, okay? But this type device will allow you to control the strength of your grip better. Now, hands. They are more cosmetic. And remember I said quite often you have three term devices issued to you when you get a upper extremity prosthesis. If you are not using the hand, you want to store it in a dark spot in a plastic bag. They dry out and they change color by light. Okay? So in order to make it the most appealing for cosmesis, when I do want to go to the theater, you want to store it in a dark place in a box inside a plastic bag. Okay? So that it stays moist and doesn't dry out. You have, just like you did in the hook, you have voluntarily closing hands and voluntary opening hands. Unlike in the hook, it's the exact opposite of what's most common. I don't go around with my hand fisted and then want to open it up. So most hands, resting position, are open and my voluntary motion closes it with the myoelectric or the harness system with body power. So more hands are voluntarily closing than voluntarily opening, but you can get both. The big problem with both of them are you can't see objects with fine motor because it's blocked by the vision and you have limited pinch force with it. The rubber restricts your pinch force. Okay, these are some of your cosmetic hands. If you looked at those, would you think they were real hands or that you would think they were artificial hands? Every one of them in that picture, well obviously the one is a residual limb. The other two are natural hands that, in fact, you can tell this is a glove that's not even on the device. That is definitely not a real hand, okay? Both of those are, you can get again, stock glove. Custom from a donor hand that's really good. You can get custom sculpted. They are very, 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 very expensive. So they can look at my left hand and they can make me the right to match it. That looks very close to it. Now, let's talk about color for a minute. I think I said this the other day. If I hold my hand up here, my color changes. So do you think my hand is the same color in the end of summer as it is at the end of winter? No. So that's one of the problems even with the custom ones is that our skin tone is not always the same throughout the year. The terminal device rules. Number one, do not use this as a hammer. Okay? That may be one of our subjects. But, do you think, okay, he's not here yet. I was looking to see if Steve was here. I needed to invite him in. Alright, do you think this would hurt me? Hammer this nail in if there was something sticking out? It's not going to hurt. But, you'd be surprised how many do it. If you actually use it as a hammer, you can break it down. So please encourage your patients not to pry things up with it and use it as a hammer or a pry bar, even though it doesn't hurt them to do so. They need to replace the rubber bands when they start getting weak before they break. If they see a slight rip in the band, you want to replace it and not keep using it. That's guess what it's gonna do, right in the middle of trying to do something. It's going to break and you're gonna lose it. You want to avoid using high acids and lacquers. Most of your terminal devices are lined with something to help give you grip. And if you use enough lacquers and stuff, you will corrode the actual device that actually puts it together. Okay? You want to recommend it not oil it yourself. Yes, let the process with the WD-40 on it. But again, patients do that a lot. But however, you do want to keep it free of dirt and debris, so they do need to blow it out with an air hose sometimes. You can get those cans you use to clean computers. It's really good to spray on it and keep dust and debris out of the hands and the terminal device especially. The wrist units. More than likely, the wrist unit is just a quick disconnect. All the wrist unit is something that they can push a button and switch it to it. It can lock in different positions. Most of the time the wrist unit is used to pronate or supinate the hand because it doesn't pronate and supinate on its own. So they pronate or supinate the terminal device, then open and close it to do what they need to do. But it's pre-positioned, using other kind of pre-position. Now, usually you don't put flexion extension on it, but if someone has bilateral upper extremity amputation, like the gentleman coming today, if you don't have wrist flexion, how awkward would it be to do midline work? Okay? Can you imagine what position my shoulders and the shoulder injuries I'm going to create by constantly doing that? So usually at least one hand on a bilateral is allowed to flex. And it doesn't flex back and forth and move. You actually position it in the amount of flexion you want and then do the midline pass. But quite often with bilaterals, one of the wrist units has a flexion extension position. It has usually 6 to 10 positions you can lock it in of different degrees of flexion depending on what you want it to do. You actually can rotate it again from a bump switch at the elbow if you have a higher level amputation. The main use of a wrist unit is to attach the terminal device. Literally, it's that quick disconnect that attaches it. It permits the subject to manually pre-position it in order to do a task, and as you can see, that one it actually has some flexion on it for the bilateral. Elbow units. Yes, transradial need elbow units. Why would a transradial need an elbow unit? If they're long, it might just be a soft one in order to keep the cables aligned. Come on in, Mike. Is Steve here? Have you seen Steve yet?
I haven't seen it yet.
All right, I'm going to let you set up on that back table if you don't mind.
All right.
All right, so the transradial elbows, if they're handy just to keep the cables aligned, if there are cables running, okay? It can, so that you get the right proper force on it. But you will often have the units on it. If a person has a short transradial amputation, they do what's called a step-up unit. Now think about this. Every degree my elbow, do you think if I bend my elbow 60 degrees, okay, it's different than having it bend at 120. How much, look at the binding and what's going to happen with the device, right? Remember, I'm transradial, short with transradial length. So if I am flexing 60 degrees, how much am I flexing in the elbow in the anterior portion? Not a lot. If I do 120, it's starting to do a lot, right? So with the step-up unit, what happens is for every 1 degree my elbow moves, the terminal device moves twice that. So it's the terminal device would come up to my mouth with 120 degrees of flexion, though I only actually move the anatomical elbow 60 degrees. So a step-up unit allows a 2-to-1 ratio of the movement of the terminal device to allow you to do more with the arm without binding in the elbow for transradials. Okay? Obviously, like I said, a distal is often a soft one, as this one is, to keep the cables aligned and do different stuff. If they are transhumeral, it becomes a mechanical joint. Okay? Sometimes it is external on the outside of it, and sometimes it's internal on the inside of the elbow joint. Shoulder joints. They actually come in and you can do node switches to flex and abduct and do different things with the elbow. As I said before, the higher you are, the more involved it is. With the shoulder, you still need internal, external rotation. You need flexion. You need abduction in order to do most of your tasks. The harness system is usually a Velcro type Dacrons with hook on to do different things. Most of the prosthetic motions, like to open up the terminal device, have two things I can do. And if you're going to see in here, bilateral scapular protraction opens the terminal device, and so does shoulder flexion. So if you have two functions to be able to operate most of the parts, it allows you, especially when it's body power. If I'm already maxed out for shoulder flexion, I need to do something else to open up the device, don't I? That's what my scapular would be. So you've got to figure out that most of them have two options to do. In the transradial, like I said, tension on the control strap actually operates the terminal device. In transhumeral and elbow disarticulations, there's two cables running. One operates the elbow and one operates the terminal device, typically. Actually, what the same motion unlocks or locks it. You will see them doing a motion that moves the elbow into the amount of flexion they want. It locks there, then they operate the terminal device. It's not like you and I, who can bend my elbow and my hand moves at the same time. So they operate the elbow, get into the position that they want it in, and then they open or close the terminal device after it's already in the first position. Okay? Shoulder disarticulations, they use a lot to operate the device, to move it. We're not going to go into it a lot. Here are examples. I am not going to put this on one of the tests as far as how to put it on. I put this slide on because I find this slide helps you to figure out how to help a patient put this on. Because it was laying here with straps going every which way, you'd be surprised how many therapists go. Where does that strap go? And if the patient does, and you'd be surprised how many patients I see come in that have these straps not going in the proper location, and then they can't operate the device. So knowing that there are different ones that come on different ways to do things are important, and these diagrams are meant to show you how to put on ones that have different styles of strapping systems. This is an example of some of the harnesses and how they're used to put them on. Again, they just help you see how a lot of them work. Wrapping is no different than the lower extremity. The rules are the same. As far as not doing any circumferential wrapping, you still need to check the skin daily because if they get blisters on the residual limb, they can't wear prosthesis. And we're going to take a 10-minute break and should come back in here, but I need to call our subject and see where he is. Hello, Mike.